Hello guys and welcome back. Welcome to a glorious Wednesday. I hope this day finds you all well. Welcome to a fireside chat with myself and Draconis and the G. Yes, boys, say hi.
Woo!
Hey everybody.
It's like peeling my eyelids with the potato peeler. It's shockingly bad.
What's wrong, Bamm?
You want a more California version? Dup.
Jesus. Right, let's crack on. G, what's first on the docket today?
It says Google Drive. That's all I know.
You couldn't see me face palming, but since G is being difficult, for the most part, we'll probably wander around some random topics, but we're going to touch on what we might be anticipating coming out of E3, as well as the LoveIndies hashtag, like showing attention to indies thing that starts, I guess, like right now, or maybe already has started. I don't know. G, you had info on the LoveIndies thing.
Yeah, it's not like just below it says LoveIndies. It says June 3rd to 14th.
Yes, but we're pre-recording this show that comes out Wednesday, and I am nearly a liter into my cider on an empty stomach, so I can't calendar.
Well, it started 2 days ago, on the 3rd. It continues till the 14th, and there's a little review in the middle on the 8th. Are you waiting for me to also explain what it is?
Well, it was your topic.
It's just a topic. It's for everybody who loves indie games, that they can go over to their social media thingies, the tweeties and the face aches, and look for hashtag LoveIndies, and basically share what games you've been loving, indie games that you've been really playing the hell out of, you've been enjoying this last year, which ones have been good, perhaps which one haven't been that good, and basically say, here, everybody else, take a look at this one. And at the same time, for example, on the Tweety, look for that hashtag and find games that others are recommending and go play those.
So the big takeaway from that is to keep an eye on the hashtag, whether it be Twitter or Facebook, for possibly new indie games that maybe you're unfamiliar with that you can play, and also go post about the ones that you've played that you loved so that those folks can get some love themselves.
Wasn't that what I said?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do MySpace as well.
Ooh, can you? I thought that was gone.
No, you're thinking of Google+.
So I guess, what are some of the indie games you've played lately that you liked?
For some reason, I'm back to playing Endless Space again. It's a bit weird. I guess Surviving Mars, is that an indie game? Sort of. Tabletop Gods, lots of that.
Yeah, that one's definitely fun. That one's been fun both in and out of VR.
Yeah, it's a shame Bamm doesn't want to play that one.
I'd love to play that game with you.
Actually, I think that's going to be my first LoveIndies recommendation. Tabletop Gods. Go play that one.
And I'm wondering if I'll actually be able to beat Bamm or if he'll be whooping my ass like G does.
I don't even know how to play the game, so you'll probably kick mine.
Oh, no, I just seem to be pretty bad at it. I have fun, but I'm pretty bad at it.
You've played about 5-6 matches against Drac. I can confirm he doesn't know either what it's about.
Oh, good. I'm on firm ground there. Is it just me, or does E3 seem a bit stale and non-relevant, or is that been going on, or an increasing trend that's been going on with E3? I know Sony's not going this year, but
Well, that's why we started with LoveIndies, so we didn't have to talk about E3. But okay.
Yeah, I know.
Well, E3 is coming up.
Yeah, this is why things like LoveIndie are even more important and actually are a lot better. I just hope they don't go mainstream a bit like E3 is. Is a comparison I'm trying to draw towards, yeah.
Well, is E3 relevant? Is it losing relevancy? I suppose there's an argument to be made there, but kind of hope not, because I do like to see, new information on, games kind of consolidated, into a one big event every year, if not, spread out amongst maybe 2 or 3 at the most. Well, you know what? Actually, I say 2 or 3. I'd even go 4, like once a quarter. I'd be cool with there being a big event in different locations around the world. So I hope that E3 doesn't completely go away. I hope that it finds a way to evolve and not become irrelevant.
Honestly, for me right now, E3 is just a case of who's got the bigger wallet. So yeah.
Well, I know what you're saying, because as far as all the press stuff goes, it really does seem like the AAA stuff. The big companies, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Bethesda, Ubisoft, EA, and all those, like they're the ones that get all this love from the press and this massive attention when it comes to E3. But there are a lot of indie stuff that show up at E3 as well. So I don't know. I mean, if E3 is going to be the thing for the AAA, fine, no big deal. And then it's not like we don't play AAA games, but then, the other 2 or 3 events throughout the year, things like Gamescom and whatnot, they can be more focused on indies. I'm fine with that.
Drac, can I just observe something?
What's that?
You said, like, it's good to have E3 so there's a big or the big event. E3 manages, last year about 70,000 people? Gamescom is hitting about 370,000.
Well, hot damn.
Just saying, E3 is not the big one. E3 is where, because it's more business oriented, that's why the numbers are so much lower. It's where you go to do the big announcement traditionally, particularly the American company. E3 is more or less irrelevant because all of them are moving to online events. They're moving to do these direct play, what Sony's called something as well, state of play. They're moving to these things. They're moving away from these big press events at E3. And that's what was relevant with E3. For us, for the press side, it's relevant because that's where we go to get the next news, the next updates. At the same time, we also get them throughout the year, so it's not something big. We'll be talking Cyberpunk in a moment, I assume. It's the first time we get to see somebody play Cyberpunk. Yay. But outside of these things, not so much yay.
Well, I would say it's not the first time we get to see somebody play Cyberpunk. Since we did finally get a video after Gamescom last year. But
yeah, but that was just recorded somewhere. What they say about E3 is somebody will be playing it. You can come, you can watch somebody from CDPR play the game.
Yeah, that slightly disappoints me a little because even though I'm not going to E3, had I been going to E3, I would definitely like to get my hands on it. And since they did the demo last year where they let a limited number of folks actually get their hands on it, even though I know it's been, a year in development since then. So there have definitely been a lot of changes. It is a little disappointing they're still not going to let folks get their hands on it just yet. But since I'm not expecting it to release until sometime realistically in 2020, I still maintain that I think it's probably going to be late 2020 before this comes out, mid to late 2020. So we may even see like a playable demo at E3 next year for Cyberpunk.
See, I understand why you say that. I'm not sure. We know stories from Inside CDPR say they targeted this year, end of this year, which will put them right in the middle of the rush for the holidays, and it would just be nightmarish. They're not ready. They are delaying it no matter what to next year. Again, stories that are coming out from within the company. But I don't think they'll want to delay too much. I think they might actually want to do the mid-spring, not necessarily early spring, but mid-spring release period where there will be traditionally fewer games. We see nowadays every week there's something big almost. But I think they'll be looking to do that just to have as clear a release schedule as possible.
Well, and
we know they're releasing people. We know people working at CDPR have been released because their parts are done. At this point, it's polishing. I don't think there's much story writing going on anymore. There's minimal on the music side. On the audio side, there's still stuff. There's still stuff on development and graphics, but people are being let loose because large part of the game is practically done.
Well, and if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't mind waiting until 2020, especially if they're going to be incorporating something like the ray tracing graphics option, because I can only imagine just how awesome Night City would look at night in the rain with something like, the ray tracing graphics enabled. So I'm totally cool with it.
Let's release it 2021 or 2022. You can wait.
Look, if it's going to look as phenomenal as I expect it to, I'll wait. As much as I want to get my hands on that game right now, I'll wait because I think it's going to look phenomenal.
That is so
and
PC
then
gamer.
CDPR announced that it's going to be console only.
No, that's not going to happen.
Oh, but wait. We thought many things weren't going to happen, but CDPR are primarily known for their console games.
No, CDPR is primarily known for things like The Witcher, which is not just console.
I know, The Witcher 2 is very console-y.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they've sold more Witcher games on console rather than PC, so I could be swayed by putting it on console only.
I don't know. If you're willing to put money down on the fact that they're going to release Cyberpunk as a console-only game, I got some land to sell you about 20 miles west of where I live.
Well, I'll take that bet, and I'll raise you 2 pints of cider.
But I'd say since we're talking about E3, and I don't think we want to make this entire podcast or this entire show about Cyberpunk, why don't we just go through? Why don't we do a rundown of some of the things that, well, I'll say at least that I'm looking forward to for E3, because it sounded like you guys weren't too excited about E3.
I'm excited. I think what's his name? Zelda. He's coming out with more stuff. So yay.
Zelda. I know what you're doing there, troll.
No, for me, it's just a case of how the relevance of E3 anymore and how big are the advertiser budgets for these actual events. And to be honest, I would actually like to see actual figures. Does E3 actually make a difference in the actual end consumer sort of market? You know, all these sort of conventions. Does it actually have an impact? Does this huge budget actually equal, you know, race on Sunday, buy on Monday sort of mentality, you know?
Well, that's what Sony says it doesn't, that it wasn't worth it anymore.
Well, you know, Sony are one of the biggest corporations on the planet, and if they say it's not worth it, well, you've got to take that as it comes, really.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is an element of, for some it matters, for some it doesn't. I think it differs between, you know, this console platform and the other two. It differs between consoles and PCs, and also simply about the games. This E3 has a presence for mobile, but we don't see any keynotes by mobile developers anymore. They've moved on, but Microsoft seems to think it still matters. Bethesda and EA still think it matters. So I think it has a lot to do with the individual company and their target audience.
What was that phrase out of Armageddon for that Russian dude on the Mir space station? NASA, Russia, all made in Taiwan. So, you know, you could kind of sort of see that. Nintendo, Microsoft, Bethesda, all made in China. So, you know, so what? I still don't see the relevance of this.
There'll be people tuning in just to watch FIFA and Madden being presented. They're gonna buy the game no matter what, but they'll be tuning in for that.
That game hasn't changed in the better part of a decade. Just been re-scripted jerseys. Yeah.
It's been prettified every time. It's made prettier.
I was going to say, it sounded like Bamm was leading up to the Nintendo topic I had on here.
Oh, yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Because Link's Awakening was the first thing I listed for Nintendo Direct, which will show up on Tuesday for the E3 event, and it is basically just a recreation of the Link's Awakening game, but for the Switch, which I'm all in for because I didn't particularly care for Breath of the Wild. There were a lot of mechanics in that game that I didn't care for, so I'm looking forward to Link's Awakening. I expect it's going to get me to pick up the Switch again.
As long as they put in a way for swords to break, then it's okay.
No, you can go fuck off with that shit.
I told you, dude, Zelda's just a U-rated Skyrim, so yeah, there's that.
And I'm okay with that.
Zelda isn't even PG-13, bro, seriously.
I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with that.
The original Zelda game was more violent than the current Zelda games that are currently being played now.
And this is a remake of one of the classic Zelda games.
There's only one true Zelda game.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I love the original Zelda game, don't get me wrong. That game was a hell of a lot of fun. But the one that came out, what was it? The second one was kind of lame, but this Link's Awakening that came out for I think it was the Super Nintendo, if I remember correctly, that was an amazing game. So I'm totally down with them remaking this for the Switch.
There we go. Nintendo living up to its old moniker. Nostalgia sells.
But hey, if you want something a little bit new, this isn't guaranteed or anything more than a rumor. Metroid Prime 4, can we please get something on that, Nintendo? I would love to hear something about a new Metroid game on the Switch.
Cricket.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of silence there. It's just me. At least on the show, but I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that would love to hear about a new Metroid game.
I don't blame your enthusiasm for more games to come to the Switch. Gee, how many games are on the Switch currently? 3? Maybe 4 worth actually playing?
You know what? You say that, and I get what you're going, because, yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia games and a lot of recreations, and there are some new games based on old characters. But you know something that Nintendo's done that I certainly appreciate, that's allowed me to play some cool games like Shadowbug and Video Kid. They have a really cool indie market that they've opened up, which I did not expect from the Nintendo Switch when it first released. So I'm excited for that too, because now indie devs have another place that they can release games.
Yeah, I understand that. Yes, Microsoft has a similar setup. Yeah, and it's easier to port to Microsoft than it would be to Switch or PlayStation. To be honest, that's something I've actually annoyed at PlayStation about, is how they've actually managed to lock down the indie scene, whereas Microsoft have gone full 180 or 360, whatever have you, and allowed the scene in. So yeah, that's nothing particularly special that Nintendo's done, Drac.
It is special though, because it's a portable console. I can take it with me, and on my ride on the trolley on the way to and from work, I can play games.
This is where you're going to fall over now. Almost every single game on the Nintendo Switch that you can currently play can also be played on any tablet out there currently.
But I have a Switch. I don't have just any tablet. I have a Switch.
No, you have a tablet with controllers, peripheral controllers that you've paid through the nose for.
I don't know about paid through the nose for. The Switch was what, $300?
Okay, so it's a cheaply priced console. It's a cheaply priced tablet then.
Yeah, so I mean, whether you buy that or like you got folks who spend a ton of money on an iPad or something like that. Look, I'm fine with what I got. I'm good.
Well, when it comes to, don't get me started on Apple now, but when it comes to Apple, all you're doing is buying an eaten apple. I mean, really? Do you really want someone else's eaten apple?
Do I want
really?
a crapple? No, I'm not fans of crapple.
I'm glad you're there with me, Drac, because Apple really are. I mean, back in the early 2000s, you know, they were the bee's knees, you know, the cat's pajamas, the cow's meows. But I tell you what, now it's just screw the.
Wait.
What?
What kind of fucking cows do you have over in the UK that meow?
The kinds that meows, bro. No, seriously, but Apple are lately just trying to screw the consumer out of everything they get. They seem to have very little in the way of innovative technology, whereas other companies are taking over, which is sad to see, actually. I quite like Apple. I quite do.
Well, that makes one of us. Well, maybe two of you, because I know G's a fan of the Mac, but...
No, I'm not a fan of the Mac. I'm a fan of what Apple did in the early 2000s with regards to the iPod and iPhone and the tablets.
I'm not.
I am. I'm a great fan. I just don't like the current trend where basically they all made in China for the lowest bloody bidder, and they're sold to people in the States and the UK and all across the world for an extortionate amount of what they really are.
That's why I'm not a fan of it. Like,
correct.
The innovation is great, but what they charge people for that...
What's innovation?
No, like,
what have they brought up that's new in the past 10
those
years?
kinds of, like, the smartphone and things like that, the way that they combine... Look, don't get me wrong. Like, the early iPhones, they're the technology that was built into those phones, I am a fan of that. But what they were charging people to have that iPhone, I still blame Apple for what it costs for the current cell phone, like, smartphone market. I really believe that smartphones are highly overpriced. You know,
you're buying the wrong ones. You can get a decent smartphone for less than $100.
Yeah,
I agree.
But see, that's the thing. Why is it that an iPhone X is $1,000? Why is it that like a Google Pixel, if you want to buy a brand new one, is like $800 plus?
Because of the R&D that's gone into them, needs to go somewhere.
What R&D?
But there is a lot of R&D going into them. If you don't recognize that, then you don't know there's a technology that goes into modern phones.
I understand that, but I also kind of think that they're still overpriced by a significant amount.
Nope, in my opinion, they're not. They're expensive as hell, but there's a reason why all of them are that expensive, not just Apple. Samsung's high-end cost the same as Apple's. Yeah.
Right, but where you're attributing that cost solely to R&D, and you're saying that the costs for all these phones are that expensive, at least in my own like simple man's layman opinion, the reason why that cost is as high as it is because Apple set the bar and people paid it. I see the same thing in the toy industry. I see people go buy toys for $30 and resell them for anywhere from like $80 to $300, and people pay that price. It's because people are paying the exorbitant price that it's selling, and if people weren't buying it for that price because they had to have the next new thing, then they would sell it for cheaper because they would want to still sell that item, and they would be able to sell it for cheaper. But they're making tons of money on this stuff.
Okay, calm down, Kamarad.
You say Comrade Dregnov. I tell you what, G, maybe you need to go to speak to someone called Louis Rossman. I tell you what, mate, that might just change your mind.
No, I've seen.
There's been no innovation with regards to Apple and their tech lately.
There has.
Okay, what's an innovation that's come out in the past 10 years? And if you tell me a tablet that's 10 inches, that's not innovation. That's just a bloody tablet.
Okay, so basically you know nothing of what goes into making a system on a chip.
I don't need to know. It's a chip. Companies
but that
like
development that's
ARM,
gone into making them better.
companies like ARM and Samsung have foundries that make it for Apple. Apple farm out most of their stuff, don't they? Or at least they did.
Out the foundry work,
There you go.
and they're looking to insource that by buying a foundry. But the design of the CPUs in Apple's, they buy the base design and licenses from ARM, but they have a fairly large, very well-paid staff that does nothing but figuring out optimizing that to make the best CPU they can do for their purposes.
Okay, so
Huawei has Hisense that does the exact same. Samsung has a team that does the exact same. NVIDIA has a team that does the exact same. They're all competing for those people. AMD, Intel, Qualcomm, TSMC, all those companies are competing for that pool, fairly small pool of really highly skilled, highly paid people. That's just for optimizing the CPU CPU, the GPU, that is it. Then all the other bits like the screen, and that's just the actual, the thing that lights up. Then the little glass plate on top, they've been buying companies to trying to improve that. You don't just buy a company for a nickel. These are expensive companies. Battery tech, Apple is investing a fuck ton of money in battery tech. Radio tech, Apple has a radio lab at their campus that rivals that of both the old Nokia and the current Sony Ericsson. You might remember Sony Ericsson is one of 3 companies who can even do things like 5G. Apple has equipment that matches that. They have labs that matches that. These are not small investments.
Okay, think of it like this, G, right? I pick up the phone and I order a pepperoni pizza. And I want extra cheese, extra pepperoni, maybe some mushrooms on my pizza. And the delivery guy delivers me my pizza. And he charges me $1,000 freaking dollars for the pizza. Apple's more like the delivery guy than the guy actually making the pizza.
No, Apple is making all of the bits.
Nope. Apple buy the bits, put them together themselves, and then sell it to you. Yep.
Okay, so in your analogy, your Apple pizza has salami on it, where Apple has defined down to the molecule what the sausage is made of. Yes, somebody else made the sausage, but Apple is pointing out what pigs are the best ones for it. What spices go in. Apple is growing the individual spices.
But I didn't order freaking stuffed crust, bro!
I still think he used the wrong analogy. I think what he should have used was the KFC analogy, which would have been more appropriate for Bamm. And here's why I say KFC analogy. Because KFC has the secret recipe.
There we go.
And that is why Apple charges so much more for their stuff, is because they have the Apple brand on their stuff.
But it isn't. It really isn't just that. The Apple CPUs are not like the other CPUs. Samsung CPUs are not like the other CPUs. Yes, they're all ARM, but they are not identical, not even close.
Difference between an Apple PC system, alright, and a normal PC system is that it comes in only one color, white, and the edges are curved. Done.
No. Consistently up until the very last generation, Apple laptops have been using higher quality components. I know what Lewis is saying. No, I know what he's saying. When you buy those individual components, you can buy them in cheap version, you can buy them in expensive version. Apple might be sucking at putting them together, but consistently they've been buying Intel's higher-end CPUs, they've been buying higher-end RAM chips, they've been buying higher-end-ish GPU model. They've been buying higher-end radio modules. This, what do you call it, the monoframe aluminum on the MacBooks, that was something nobody else had. You can buy Dell, you can buy all the other brands of laptops that cost exactly the same with exactly the same components in them. You can't buy from any manufacturer up until, again, the latest generation, a laptop from anybody with the same components as an Apple for less money. Nobody else was selling it because they couldn't make it. The cheaper laptops had lower quality equipment in it.
I actually disagree when it comes to that because I think it was, there was something like a year back or something where Linus dropped a screen for his latest Mac PC, whatever have you. And to get the board to replace the thing that broke on the screen, it was a silly amount of what the actual board was cost to actually get the pieces separately, the board made up. It cost like silly amounts. And eventually, I think he had to actually phone or get hold of the previous guy I mentioned, Lewis, to actually come and help him put it together without dropping it. But I think we've spoken about Apple enough because, E3 and Apple, yay.
I heard Apple.
I heard Apple too.
So, shall we circle back around to Microsoft then?
Yay, Microsoft! Another company that wants to rip your pockets open and take all your money.
Yeah, kind of. All right, well, I'll just speak for myself then. With regards to what I may be excited about when it comes to Microsoft, we're getting a new Gears of War. They kind of teased it a little bit last year, Gears of War 5. They also teased a new Halo game, which I'm super excited for. Plus, I'm still waiting for information on the Master Chief Collection. And I'm kind of wondering if we might maybe finally get some solid information on xCloud, which is Microsoft's version of Stadia, the cloud-based gaming from Google.
That is so ass backwards.
Which part?
xCloud was announced well before Stadia.
It was announced, but how much information do we really have on it?
At least as much as we have about Stadia.
So if we got more information in E3, would that be a good or a bad thing?
It will probably get some, if nothing else, in the little business meetings they planned. There will be more information. Might not be at the presentation, but there will be more information about xCloud. But who cares? There's PlayStation Now, which is sort of working. GeForce Now is sort of working. Stadia is just more of that.
I'm curious. I don't have an Xbox myself. I haven't had one since an Xbox 360. I got rid of that when I got my Switch. I'm just curious to see see, what it is that they're putting in place, how that will compete with things like Stadia and GeForce Now and things like that. So I'm actually more interested specifically in things like Halo Infinite, the Master Chief Collection, Gears of War 5, and of course, kind of expecting that Cyberpunk will have its, I don't want to say big reveal, but additional information will probably come during the Microsoft press event this year.
So is that what MCC was for? Okay.
MCC is Master Chief Collection. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that on PC. They're going to be releasing.
I had no idea what MCC in the notes would be. I was going, okay, so that's the thing from The Expanse in Halo Infinite. Fair enough.
You see, G, you were going on about having very little information about whatever games you're talking about that bored the living pants off me. But let me tell you something else, another company that hasn't actually said anything, and I don't know if you put it in your notes yet, but BioWare have been very quiet, very, very quiet on the Western Front.
He did put it in the notes. That's down
Did he?
when we get to EA. Yeah.
Oh, right.
You're jumping ahead,
I
Bamm.
jumped the gun.
But yeah, no. Actually, Microsoft is releasing several, or maybe somewhere between several and a bunch of their games on Steam and other storefronts here in the near future. So, an eye out for that. I still can't wait for Master Chief Collection. But you're talking about another company that's been kind of silent. A company that maybe should be silent at this year's E3. How about Bethesda after what happened with Fallout 76?
Well, they have something to show. I mean, they have these huge banners on all over the actual site, and I think it's mostly Doom, as far as I can tell, that's on those banners. So there'll be more Doom and some Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I expect we're probably going to hear from Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein Youngblood. I don't know if they're going to talk about Fallout 76 with the way that things have gone. I don't know if we're going to get any kind of preview to...
They'd be stupid not to.
Well...
No, they would have to come out and make a statement. Otherwise, the player base is going to whine.
I don't know. I feel like talking about Fallout 76 is one of those things that you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Not if you know what you do. I think they can do it. I think they come out and say, yeah, here's the next thing we planned for Fallout 76. Here's some bug fixes. Here's something. Not everything, and there'll be more coming up later.
Yeah, but you say that, and I can see, like, I've seen stuff throughout the year talking about how Todd Howard was on stage last year, and I remember watching this, where he was talking about how, like, he was joking about how their games have bugs, and it was like like this funny thing, and it was supposed to be like this cute funny thing, but then after how Fallout 76 released and all the issues with that, it wasn't really cute or funny anymore. So
don't walk down that path. But coming out and saying, yeah, we're hearing you, yeah, we're listening, yeah, we're doing stuff, yeah, we're working, yeah, here's an update. They don't have an update ready for this week. They'd be a bit silly. But if they don't say anything, I think that would just alienate the player base more.
Well, I don't know. At least for myself, I'm expecting it'll focus more on Doom and possibly Wolfenstein. I don't know if we'll hear much about Fallout. We might hear about Fallout with regards to additional DLCs that are coming out.
Well,
and
since you said Todd Howard, he's come out and said we won't hear about Starfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really expect to hear about Starfield or the next Elder Scrolls.
He said that we won't hear about it in the near future. There's nothing new.
Yeah, they're going to keep that under wraps.
Yeah, so don't expect that.
Yeah, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, that stuff is all going to be under wraps at this point because it's way too early.
Hang on, did you just say Elder Scrolls 6? What?
No, I said Elder Scrolls.
It's like it's an Elder Scrolls. Okay, never mind.
I did mention in the text chat while we were doing this that I'm on my second pint now.
Only your second? Only your second?
Well, only
Sir,
my second, yeah.
I have to say, you're letting the side down.
Hey, good stuff, though. This is my apple pie version.
Yay, America.
I honestly thought apple pie was German? Was it?
If only Jolly was here for that.
Not saying anything.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, quick shout out to Jolly, all right? My American compatriot on the site.
Your American what?
All these years and Drac still hasn't been sober once one of these recordings.
Hey, that's not entirely true. Moving swiftly on to Ubisoft. No new Assassin's Creed. What's that?
Ubisoft.
No new Assassin's Creed this year. Finally? Maybe? I don't know. Will we see anything from Splinter Cell, Far Cry, or Watch Dogs? I don't know. We're not really sure what to expect from Ubisoft this year.
Oh, come on. There has to be Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Honestly, that is one thing I really... isn't that... did they release a release date for that yet?
Nope, but they've kind of just hidden away with it, and we haven't heard something in a while, so if this will be the time time to come out and show gameplay.
Well, you said we haven't heard anything from a while. We heard stuff last year at E3.
Yeah,
in fact, I saw it at the show last year. Yeah. So this year, I'm expecting some kind of release date, more information, hopefully even a playable demo, maybe.
Gameplay,
I don't know.
I would.
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, open world MMORPG.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played the first Beyond Good and Evil, but this one looks interesting.
I was making a joke, but now you got me interested. I didn't even know there was the first one. I thought this was the only one. That's how much I cared about this game.
No, I never played the first one, but this one looks pretty cool.
I think that's a lot of people will share that view. The first one kind of went under the radar, cold hit thing, but yeah, sequel definitely. And I'm thinking we don't need Assassin's Creed because they had that ship version, Black Flag, and this year there's Skull and Bones. So,
you know what? I played Skull and Bones last year, and when I was at E3. Here's the thing: as ship combat, it was kind of interesting. It was kind of fun. Not something that I would be like crazy super excited to play. But one of my biggest disappointments is that's all it was. It was just the ship-to-ship combat. There wasn't anything else to it. At least at the playable demo at E3 last year.
well, it is focused on ship combat, so yeah.
Yeah, but even with a pirate game, I want more from that. I don't want to do just ship-to-ship combat when it comes, out at sea. I want more than that. Boarding other ships, exploring the islands, stuff like that.
Releasing of Krakens.
Yeah.
You've actually wounded me, sir. You have sunk my battleship because I've been playing a lot of World of Warships lately, and that is just ship-to-ship combat.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is bad for everyone. I'm just talking about me personally. I want more than just ship-to-ship combat.
Coming from the person who wants to play the same game over and over again through his Nintendo Switch because he played it when he was 12 in the 1980s and wants to play a remastered version in the 2080s.
I think 12 is the wrong age. Maybe
Dude, I was pulling
17,
at straws
but...
here, dude. Give me that, bro. Seriously, give me that.
Dude, you're trying to make me older than I am. Come on now. I know I'm old, but goddamn it, I'm not that old.
Should we move on from Yubi Wooby?
Yubi Wooby. That sounds like a blanket.
It's kind of what I concluded they are called after I saw the rabbits.
Well, I think the next thing that you added, did I add? You add? I don't know. EA?
And I don't know. Yeah, EA. Yes, they do an EA play. There'll be a presentation, a key note thingy somewhere else because that makes sense. And is there anything interesting? Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, Apex Legends, Battlefield, FIFA.
Wait. You said, is there anything interesting? Star Wars is definitely interesting to me.
Yeah, to you. But to the majority of people, Star Wars is just...
I don't know about the majority of people.
It's boring. Star Wars is milked to death.
Not to death yet. It's getting there, but not to death yet.
There's a cow marked Star Wars somewhere is just getting beaten. Is it a horse? What is it you beat to death?
You beat to death a horse, not a cow. Holy shit.
Well, hang on. Let me just... What do you say, Drac? Speak properly, bro. What's going on here, Drac? What's going on, dude? Are you a bit inebriated, bro? Are you under the influence? Are you DUIing the podcast?
I am now. I'm halfway through my second pint, and I'm feeling pretty good.
You only got this far on 1.5 pints. Dude, you make some serious weak sauce. You need to increase your ABV rating.
When you're on an empty stomach?
Drac's a cheap date. That is okay.
Yes, that is okay. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, Jedi. No, just stop. Give us a break from Star Wars. And talking of things to give us a break from, Apex Legends. Yeah, all the influencers they paid to show the game and bring them players got paid to show another game, and all those players went with them. So that's another also ran Battle
You know
Royale.
what though? Apex Legends is pretty fun, and I like that as an alternative to Fortnite.
Oh yeah, but the player base is half gone.
Unfortunately.
At least in Fortnite, there's some 13-year-old on an Android phone playing somewhere.
Oh shit.
Yeah, reference to Apex Legends will be coming out on mobile soon. No, Bamm, there's Battlefield 5 being presented. Is that something for you?
No, I pretty much gave up the ghost after Battlefield 4 because... Battlefield 1. Battlefield 4 for me was the pinnacle. I still play Battlefield 4. That's how much I really enjoyed the game because it had everything. Good gun game, good tactics, relatively decent gameplay, and you had everything you wanted. Tanks, helicopters, jets. You could specialize in any sort of field. I mean, there was a group of us, myself, a guy called Bruce, a guy called Al, and then Len. We sort of cornered the market, sort of, but we initiated between ourselves. Len started it, and we're RPGing choppers out the sky. You're not using stingers, because stingers were about as much use as a wet pepper bag in a rainstorm. So we said, sod it, we'll just RPG them out the sky. And kaboom, it started working. And the shots just got longer and longer and longer. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. When they took that element out of it, as in the aircraft with regards to helicopters and RPGs and such, a lot of the fun was taken out of the game for me. And the hype train was real. And unfortunately, it didn't live up to the hype. And that's what turned me a little bit bitter and jaded against AAA games. Because, Hardline wasn't well said. The first Star Wars Battlefront, that EA made, wasn't what they said. The second one really wasn't what they said. And it just seems to be a developing trend. Bethesda, now BioWare. Who's next on the chopping block? Cyberpunk 2077, perhaps?
No, don't go there.
So I'm taking that's a no on Battlefield 5. Okay.
Yeah, a long-winded no.
It's fair enough. I had nothing to add to it. I didn't play Battlefield 5. Yeah, we tried it. I played one match with you. That was it. FIFA and Madden, it's just, people are going to watch it. They're going to buy the game and done. And Sims 4, again, I don't get it. How can Sims 4 still be a thing?
I've never understood how Sims could be a thing.
My 9-year-old plays it. She's enjoying it. That's all I know of it. No, there's a lot of people who are enjoying it. It's still Sims 4. There's just more and more DLC for it, more and more content for Sims 4. Like, are EA finally accepting they don't need to make a Sims 5? Would they start to accept that with other games? They don't need to make a Battlefield 6? They can just keep making content for 5 and make that better?
I think as long as they're making money on a game, they don't feel like they need to make a new version of it.
I say good news, because there's absolutely nothing from EA related to BioWare. No Anthem, no Mass Effect, no Dragon Age. So I assume they're just still making money off it and not making a new game.
Well, you say that, but we know they're working on Dragon Age 4. It's just that it's probably not ready to release any info.
Yeah, probably because everybody's working on fixing Anthem. Oh, sorry, I know this is BSy, but there is nothing mentioned. They sent out these. The reason why we can say what games they're going to talk about is because EA sent out a list saying at this time we're going to talk about this. It'll be this host. Yay, Greg Miller will be there, and that's about it. But on that list and all the material they sent out, there's nothing about BioWare. There's not even. We talked about 76 that they should come out and say what they're going to do. There's not even a by the way about Anthem, at least on the document they've sent out. So things are not looking pretty for BioWare. You two got quiet.
What's going on? I was listening to G rant and then I drowned. What?
So you're not expecting anything Anthem, Mass Effect, BioWare?
No, honestly, G, I really am not. I'm kind of glad BioWare aren't doing anything or saying anything. I'm kind of glad they aren't. They're doing what No Man's Sky did, a bit of No Man's Sky did. They're keeping quiet and doing their jobs, hopefully, to repair Anthem. I still want to play that game. I still want to buy the game. But unfortunately, with all the nonsense that went off it, I noped straight out of the storefront before I bought it. So if this Cataclysm actually is a success, guess where I'm going to be spending my hard-earned cash?
See, I'm with you there. I want to play Anthem as well. But I also noped out of it because everything that we saw and heard, even before release, just told me don't get this at release. Similar to Fallout 76, which I then got, 2 days before release.
Well,
if it's a success, I'll get it, yeah.
The problem with Fallout 76, G, is that it was plagued with bugs and errors and issues. It was a development problem. Whereas BioWare was plagued with a different problem. Because the microtransactions and loot boxes were so integral to Anthem's playstyle, development, play everything, it just basically pulled the rug from under its feet, and then the game was just a skeleton game, similar to Destiny 1. Some very similar instances have happened in Destiny 1 and
but
Anthem.
It's not like Destiny 1, because with Destiny 1, it was literally things being yanked.
Yeah.
Whereas we know the story now behind Anthem, that there was no game until half a year before, because they got nowhere.
Half a year, Jesus, dude.
They've just been running in circles for 4 years.
No, dude, they had, yes. And for once, as the truth has finally come out, for once, EA wasn't the cause of this. It was basically BioWare.
EA was also.
Well,
look,
the plan to use Frostbite was a fuck up.
No, look,
Well,
that was a ball up. Yes, I totally agree. And EA wasn't the one to call all the shots, but BioWare should have been in development a lot longer than what it was.
And a CEO coming in and basically using the whole scare tactics, and you better be ready and you better show me things that are impressive. No, that's poor management by the CEO. The way the company was outright scared of showing him a demo, that tells me that CEO was shitty. I've been been there, done that. No, get away from management like that.
The thing about BioWare, or I should say more specifically about Anthem, it is a fun game to play while you're playing it.
Damn right it is. It's a very fun game.
I still haven't maxed out my character level, which I need to do before we do the Cataclysm. Hey, I warned you about this, but you said talk anyway.
Carry on, Drac. It's funny.
I noticed Bamm was afraid of opening his own cider.
I just
You know what?
My side,
I just said go with the flow. I thought we were doing this thing like this, but whatever.
No. I've got 3 liters left, and it's like I don't want to be comatose because I know this one's 9% proof or 9% alcohol within this 3 liter. I'll tell you what, it's your hard. Yours, Drac, I think they call it silent but deadly.
No, mine was
Sneaks
about
up on
7 point. What was it 7.8, 7.9?
Oh, that's enough. That's enough, bro.
Yeah.
So it sneaks up on you slowly. Mine just hits you in the face.
So anyway, no, Anthem has been a lot of fun to play, but it does get old because you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But still, the actual gameplay itself is fun to play. So when they finally start to add more things to do, when they fix the loot issues that have been there, it's going to be a hell of a game, but we're still waiting on them to do that.
Should we move on? Squeenix, Final Fantasy, Marvel Avengers. Why are they on the list?
I was about to say, why are they on the list?
Well,
We've already seen Avengers.
look, Final Fantasy 7. Well, Final Fantasy 7, I get that that's a big thing for folks. It wasn't a big thing for me. I never played it when it was on Sony PlayStation. I actually watched. At the time, I lived with my roommate from high school, and he played it. But it was cool because it was like watching a movie. Marvel's Avengers. This is a new Avengers game, so I'm in. I want to see what it is.
It's just Marvels and it's Avengers. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting to play as the Avengers.
Okay. Play Spider-Man.
He's only one of the Avengers. But what about Captain America? What about Vision? What about
As
Iron
Disney
Man?
once
Vision
says,
died,
he's the
bro.
only one that's relevant. Oh, sorry, that was Fox, wasn't it?
What about Scarlet Witch? What about there's so many characters you could play as. Yeah, you had some other stuff from
tapped out on
Squeenix,
Marvel. Marvel comics, sure, but movies and games, they're getting into Star Wars territory.
Well, look, the Marvel Universe has been around for, longer than Star Wars? So there's a lot of stories to tell there.
I'm not saying there's not a lot of stories to tell, whereas Star Wars is just telling Lord of the Rings repeatedly. What I'm saying is it's been concentrated the last few years. Give us a break from Marvel, come back 2022, we'll be ready again.
Well, you had some other stuff from Square Enix.
No, I was just noting in here, there's probably the next chapter for Life is Strange 2. More DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 because people seem to be enjoying the heck out of that. And then just observing, I think it's July, month later, that Dragon Quest Builders 2 will actually release over here. It released last year in Japan. There's no way they're not going to mention that.
What is that exactly?
The RPG, open world, slightly Minecrafty. You play Boundless, right? A little bit less buildy than Boundless, I guess. A little bit more RPG.
So Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
Because Minecraft is just building, Boundless is building and exploring. Dragon Quest Builders 2, more RPG, less building. Think Dragon's Dogma meets Minecraft.
Okay. You're saying the second one, but I never played the first.
Yeah, me neither. Well, going down your list, Devolver Digital. She's awesome. The fake CEO. That one I'll look forward to.
They usually have an interesting show floor.
Yeah, but do you know what I love about them? At least, recently. The first one was, let's just do this. And they clammed something together and it left kind of a cliffhanger. And then since then, it's been building on it. It's just one continuous show. Like you can daisy chain them together. Whereas others just go, here's what we're doing this year, blah, blah, blah. They just have this, like it's one long script, one long fuck up of a presentation. I like that. I think it's brave, it's interesting, it's different. I follow some of the PR people related to Devolver. They're slightly insane, not always in a good way. Yeah, watch it. I'm always sad that I don't get invited to Devolver event.
You and me both.
Yeah, but I was literally standing outside just looking in at people having fun. Like physically, literally standing there last year. And then I guess also for Drac, PC Gamer will have a presentation.
Woohoo!
So I'm expecting something about frames per pixels and the amount of keyboards per second and first-person mousing.
Keyboards per second.
I don't know. You people, you just like big numbers and things that don't make sense. Are there any PC games that you're looking forward to that they might present?
Well, I mean, we already saw some information for Borderlands 3. Dying Light 2. I definitely want to see some more info on that because I've been waiting for a second one of that.
See, I'm not excited about Borderlands 3. I was. Then I remember Pitchfork, and then Pitchfork doubled down on being Pitchfork. He started attacking people. Now I'm not, I don't even want to, even to the point that I'm not interested in, I lost all interest in Trover Saves the Universe.
Well, look,
etc. It's just, we shouldn't give that man money at all.
There's something to be said for that, but I don't know. Look,
I will buy 100 copies of Borderlands 3 if they get rid of Pitchfork. Get him off it. Don't care about anything else. Just no.
Here's the thing about Borderlands 3. I was kind of, when I played the pre-sequel, I never even finished it. I got kind of bored, but it's been so many years. I know Borderlands 3 is the same kind of game. We're looking at the same kind of things all over again. But, looking at the trailer, it did get me interested in getting back into it again.
Yeah, again, when the trailer released, I was on board. Right along there until he started shouting at people. Right along until I remembered what he was.
Well, I don't blame the CEO for the entire company.
Don't know.
But Dying Light 2, or at least Dying Light 1, was an amazing game, and I cannot wait to get my hands on the second one.
I would agree. What we saw last year at Gamescom was awesome. Well, what I saw, you weren't there. Getting to talk to the devs, etc., that was pretty cool. Dying Light 2 is definitely up there. I think there's a Warframe update coming out. There's Insomniac is showing off Stormlands. That's all going to be interesting. I don't know why they're doing those at the PC Gamer event presentation thingy, but why not? And that's also the one place where we're probably going to see some indie games. So I might watch the PC Gamer presentation. Not sure.
You will.
Yeah, but it's again, I like Digital Extremes. They had some fuck ups. The Eternals, South Coast Legends. Actually, they've not managed anything except Warframe.
Whoa, you just mentioned Sword Coast Legends. That was like years ago.
Oh yeah, but I'm still saying Digital Extremes, I like the company, but they try things and it doesn't seem to work out for them outside of Warframe. So I'll watch it mostly for the sacrifice that they're showing off. And again, Insomniac, always awesome, and indie games, yeah, sure.
Bamm is strange silent.
Yeah, it's getting late where I'm at, guys. I really, really, really think we should come to a close. We've bled these poor people's ears enough, seriously.
So is that the roundup? It's been an hour and we're heading out.
Yes, it has been an hour and we are done. Guys, thank you very much for joining us and just listening to us prattle on about things that interest us. Sorry, we went on serious tangents and lots of bits and pieces, but there we are. Guys, thank you very much. My name is Bamm Havoc, TTFN. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Ciao, everybody.
Drac on the west coast of the US. I'm out. Adios.